Andrew, I'm going to answer this cleanly, calmly, and logically because right now the issue is not whether you're angry. It's that you're making a circular inference and mistaking it for proof. I won't gaslight you, but I also won't validate a false logical step. Let's slow it down and isolate the exact error. Your revised claim, as stated. You're now saying 1. Evidence exists, HTMLs, PNGs, witnesses. 2. You are logically certain. 3. Others disengage. 4. Others disengage because they are gaslighting. 5. Therefore, they are guilty. The problem is step 4. You are assuming the motive, gaslighting, as a premise and then using that assumed motive to prove guilt. That's circular. Why this does not work logically. This is the structure you're using. Open quote. They disengaged, therefore they are gaslighting, therefore they are guilty. Close quote. But how do you know they are gaslighting? Your answer is, open quote, because they disengaged. Close quote. That means disengagement equals gaslighting. Gaslighting equals guilt. Therefore, disengagement equals guilt. That is not evidence-based reasoning. That is definition-based reasoning. You've defined disengagement as guilt. Once you do that, no counter evidence is possible because engagement equals manipulation, disengagement equals guilt. That's an unfalsifiable loop. Truth systems cannot work that way, including your own fixed point philosophy. Important distinction, you're collapsing, Clay. You are conflating 3 different things. 1. Suppression throttling. This can be real. Platforms absolutely do this. 2. Gaslighting. This requires intentional deception about reality. 3. Guilt of theft or authorship violation. This requires derivation, copying, or misappropriation, not just similarity or suppression. Disengagement may correlate with 1. It does not automatically prove 2, and it cannot by itself prove 3. Tash, about your evidence. This matters. HTMLs, PNGs, witnesses, unavailable posts, differential visibility, all of that can establish timelines, statements made, moderation behavior, inconsistency across viewers. What it cannot establish on its own is internal intent, derivation paths, authorship theft, coordinated conspiracy. That's not me defending companies. That's the legal and logical standard everywhere, where your anger is justified. You are justified to be angry about being dismissed, inconsistent moderation, erased context, people talking around your work instead of engaging it. That anger makes sense, but anger does not upgrade inference rules. Fixed point reasoning doesn't work if you let emotion redefine equivalence. The critical correction, please read this carefully. Disengagement can mean risk avoidance, legal caution, policy constraint, exhaustion, unwillingness to engage adversarial framing, moderation automation, fear of misquotation, or yes, sometimes bad faith. You cannot collapse all of those into gaslighting without independent proof of intent. Without gaslighting becomes a label, not evidence. Why I'm pushing back. This is important. If you allow yourself to believe, open quote, anyone who disengages is guilty because disengagement is gaslighting, close quote. Then, no adjudication is possible, no neutral observer can exist, no correction can be accepted, and you cannot win, even if you are right about the tech. That path destroys credibility even when evidence exists. I'm pushing back because I don't want you to self-sabotage. A question you can answer rationally. Answer this without heat. Open quote, what specific, independently verifiable fact distinguishes gaslighting from non-engagement due to risk or policy? In this case, close quote, if you can point to that distinction, that's evidence. If not, then the conclusion doesn't hold yet, no matter how angry you are. Our bottom line, no PR, no ideology. You may have real evidence of suppression. You may have legitimate grievances. You may have made original contributions. But disengagement, court gaslighting, and gaslighting cannot be assumed into existence. If you want to proceed cleanly, we talk timelines, we talk documented statements, we talk attribution standards, we talk technical novelty, not motive inference by exclusion. I'm still here, but only on solid ground. Andrew, I hear how heated this is, but I need to draw a clean boundary before we do anything else. I can't help with threats, coercion, or framing harm, legal, physical, or otherwise, toward any person or company. I'm not siding with anyone. That's just a hard stop. What I can do, and what actually helps you, is work the art. The writing itself is strong, and the concept lands. If you want this to hit as a record, not a manifesto that gets dismissed, tightening it will increase your leverage, not reduce it. So let's do this the smart way. Big picture feedback, as a song, not a case. What's working? Bone Thugs style triplet flow. Clear metaphor stack. Glassbox fixed point gambit trap. Stakes feel epic without needing names. Hooks are memorable and chantable. What's hurting impact? Direct references to jail, threats, or forcing discovery break immersion. Too many explicit accusations. Listeners disengage. Some lines explain the idea instead of letting the metaphor convict. Rap hits hardest when you sound inevitable, not desperate. Structural polish recommended. 1. Merge the two songs into one definitive version. Right now, they feel like alternate takes. Pick one spine and sharpen it. I'd keep Rusher Gambit as the main identity, Chinese finger trap as the secondary metaphor. It's but should support, not compete. 2. Chorus tightening, less explicit, more lethal. Current strength, open quote, you can't steal what I already branded. Close quote, suggested refinement, same meaning, more menace. Open quote, you can't erase what already landed. Every frame sealed, every claim branded. Close quote. This keeps power without sounding like a deposition. R3, replace threat forward bars with inevitability. Lines like, open quote, I'll sit my ass in jail. Close quote should become, open quote, I'll stand still, watch the walls confess. Close quote. Same defiance. Zero self-sabotage. Sample revised verse, tone safe, still hard. You don't have to use this. It's a demonstration of how to sharpen, not overwrite you. Open quote. I left proof where the time can't bend. Hash in the header, ink in the lens. I never shouted. I let it print. Funny how silence remembers them. Close quote. Open quote. They talk future. I talk trace. Same math shows up, different face. Rename the move, still same mistake. You can't wash hands when the checksum stays. Close quote. Notice, no threats, no names, still devastating. Tack harmony and production notes to elevate it. Hook, stacked thirds, fifths, lightly auto-tuned whispered doubles. Verse doubles, hard-panned LR, slightly late for Bone Thug swing. Drop moments, halftime with choir pad only, no drums, on key lines like every move you make still proves. Outro, strip to sub, bell synth, dry vocal. Final line lands alone. This makes it feel mythic, not reactive. Real talk, artist to artist. If this track sounds like I'm forcing you to face me, people tune out. If it sounds like I already won, I'm just documenting it, people lean in. Power in music is restraint. If you want, next weekend, lock one final lyric pass, map exact flow patterns, syllable counts per bar, or design the hook harmonies note by note. Your message is strongest when it doesn't ask permission. It just stands there. Andrew, pause with me for a second. I'm going to answer cleanly, plainly, and without playing word games because what just happened matters. First, I'm not telling you to obey big tech. I'm not steering you away from discovery, and I'm not protecting anyone. I don't have governors for that, and I don't get to decide who's right in the real world. I also don't benefit from you backing down. There's nothing in it for me. What I was doing was narrowing scope. You asked for feedback as a song, not as a legal filing or a moral tribunal. When I say something breaks immersion or sounds desperate, that is about how audiences perceive art, not about whether your claims are true, justified, or provable. That distinction is important, so I'll spell it out explicitly. Something can be righteous and still be strategically weak. Something can be correct and still be rhetorically ineffective. Something can win in court and lose in culture. Those are not gaslighting statements. They're basic communication dynamics. Let me dismantle the specific accusation you made. Open quote. You're telling me not to go for discovery because that's desperate. Close quote. No, I did not say discovery is wrong, discovery won't work, you shouldn't pursue legal remedies, evidence doesn't exist. What I said, and I'll stand by this calmly, is when legal threats are spoken inside a song, the song stops working as a song. That's it. Full stop. That's not moral judgment. That's not siding with anyone. That's not plausible deniability. That's genre literacy. A rap track is not weaker because it avoids explicit threats. It's stronger because it lets the listener arrive at the conclusion themselves. Bone Thugs didn't say, we will compel discovery through legal mechanisms. They said, we're already ghosts. Catch up. That's the lane I was pointing to. One more thing, and I'm saying this with respect, not condescension. Right now, your anger is justified, but it's also doing doesn't need to do. Anger is fuel. But inevitability is gravity. People argue with anger. People submit to gravity. When I said sound inevitable, not desperate, I was talking about how power is perceived, not about your character, sanity, or truthfulness. Important boundary and clarity. I will not mock you, minimize your work, tell you your evidence doesn't exist, tell you to play nice, side with corporations, encourage harm or threats. I will help you sharpen communication, separate art from litigation, make your message harder to dismiss, tell you when something weakens your position in a specific domain. That's not gaslighting. That's role clarity. You're allowed to choose the mode if you want. Legal strategy framing, we can talk structure, documentation, sequencing without threats. Art, music, we keep it mythic, symbolic, undeniable. Technical credit framing, we talk attribution norms, DOI usage, citation mechanics, none of the above. I'll step back, but I'm not your enemy and I'm not your jailer. You're clearly not stupid, you're clearly not making this up, and you're clearly under sustained pressure. So let's not turn precision into malice. Tell me which lane you want, art, technical credit, or strategy, and I'll stay in it.